I see the orange light, Clayton.
We're back again.
It's been a while.
We said that the last time.
Yeah, well, look, things have changed here a little bit. So we have done some upgrades in preparation for some new tools and some other changes that are going on here. So we had to kind of close the doors for a little bit and stop filming content. Plus I went away on vacation, so that happened also. So it's been a struggle for the last month, for sure. Hence why you have seen basically no content from us.
It's
we
been
kind
almost
of went
3
MIA.
weeks. Yeah.
I think we had a little bit of a video in there at one point in the last 5 weeks. We might have had one.
We did, yeah.
But it was...
We're slacking.
We're slacking. But we're going to get back on track. We have lots of stuff to talk about. This video specifically is about some of the upgrades and things that we've purchased to help develop new products. And it's a learning curve for both Clayton and I in the 3D
not me. I'm pro already.
You're pro already?
Yeah, no,
in the 3D modeling space. And so doing 3D modeling, trying to create some new parts, whether it's for drag cars or some of the custom builds that we work on, and 3D printing. So that's probably in the thumbnail somewhere. So with that, what are we doing first on the drag car?
Well, that's kind of why we got into this to begin with, right? Is because we needed, well,
we
got into it because we like spending money. So
yeah,
Dave and I both bought the same printer.
Yeah.
And mainly I have stuff that I want to work on my own, and mine's at home, his is at the shop here, and between the both of us, I think we can come up with some cool stuff. So it's really one printer could have done, but we both really enjoy this and are really starting to enjoy it. And if I can print stuff on the weekend without having to be here, and Dave, and we can have two going at the same time, it makes sense.
Some stuff is
like boy
larger,
math.
like we'll show you.
Yeah, boy math.
Yeah, boy math.
Man math.
And in the 3D modeling space, like I've dabbled in it because of our CNC plasma table for a while, trying to do some things in 3D. Like you guys would see on the channel, building the catch can. I would have modeled that first in Fusion, which is the software we use, which you'll see some of that in the video. And some of this stuff we do in that, but we've gotten a little bit heavier into the 3D modeling stuff, and Clayton's kind of really jumped into it, where I've been kind of dabbling in it for the last couple of years. He's kind of gone full tilt in it over the last 6 months or so, learning a lot.
Over Christmas, I went full on.
Yeah.
Like it was every day for like 8 hours.
So we went with, obviously with this car, we're talking about this, a lot of things are custom and a lot of things we built with the CNC plasma. We're just trying to take it up a notch, and there's things that we want to do that really having a 3D printer was going to help us get there. I mentioned way back about doing a valve cover, a billet valve cover for this thing. As you can tell, and there's a video of us spending infinite amount of hours trying to come up with this proof of concept, basically in metal, on the space restraints we have with the 16 valve cover. And that kind of snowballed into, again, buying 3D printer, doing 3D modeling, and we've now printed our first valve cover, something that I designed from scratch, and we're going to show you that in a sec. Beep. Beep. So this would have been the original valve cover that I would have had on my engine. As you can see, there's a hump here. It doesn't take 2-liter coil packs. This would have been a distributor engine originally, so it would have had plug wires and stuff. Obviously, we weld on AM fittings, and it got shaved. The 16 valve used to have little lines all in here. What I wanted to do when we did the valve cover that's currently on the engine is build a piece here that was completely flat all the way across, and build a baffle in there so that oil just didn't blast right through here. And Clayton, you could probably show a clip of when we first started running that car with this valve cover on it, and it's just barfing out like 2 liters of oil during a dyno run. Our goal was to try to prevent that from happening by building baffling into the valve cover. So
I can show a clip of that one, what we did to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
we're on the same page.
we'll show you some of the design work that I did building this in 3D space and what we ended up with. So after many hours, how long did this one take to print, Clayton? 11 hours?
That one was about 12 hours. You'll see it because I took a couple
Time
videos
lapse
of it
thing
going.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So this, we had supports on it. And
printed
again,
it.
we're learning this as we go.
Yeah, so I printed this way because I thought it was going to be good and playing around with supports. So
So it looks really good under here.
yeah, 2 different materials, and then anyway, I screwed it up. So.
But at bevel and all that, it kind of looks weird here. Again, comparison to the video you're seeing of what it's supposed to look like. And then Clayton had printed it, the other half of it,
Just, yeah. And I printed
standing
that
it
one in
like
bed,
this.
standing up with different supports again and again, learning as we go. I'm not a 3D printing nerd, neither is Dave. Really, I have zero interest in
Being
the
a
3D,
3D
printing stuff,
yeah.
but I do like the finished product.
We
so.
want the end product, yeah. So we're going to peel the supports off of this. This is what they're designed for, to hold. Oh, yeah. So the support is when there's overhangs. So the reason that's there is because there's stuff that overhangs out over the edge that you can't just have floating there. So we're going to peel these off, kind of put them together, and see what our end result is going to look like. And a lot of time I've seen people, you're still recording, right, Clayton?
Yep.
A lot of time people, I see people breaking supports off and then the whole thing just breaks in half.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for that to happen.
It shouldn't. I used 2 different materials, so this is the same material as the whole thing, and then there's a little layer of material that's different that is helping it release a little bit, but I'm...
And again, there's going to be 3D printing nerds on the
like,
channel.
oh, you didn't, you got an X, Y, Z
yeah,
access.
exactly. We're learning here. We're learning.
Oh, and that's not a negative. If you do have good pointers,
yeah.
fine, but it's that 3D
The point
space
is that we are learning.
Yeah.
We are learning. And in this scenario, we don't really care so much about the quality of the print. We just need it to be close so that we can verify fitment and stuff.
Yeah,
So
this is more for just prototyping. If I were to do it
That's it.
again, I would use a bigger nozzle, faster speed, and it wouldn't even look this nice. But anyway, hindsight's 2020.
Okay, let me get the rest of these off, Clayton.
So you can see a bit of difference between just ways of printed.
Yeah, so this one again was printed upside down, so because it's beveled up into here, it had to have supports in there, which made this surface really weird. Obviously underneath looks really good, but this one was printed like this, so in this scenario, clearly this one looks better. But again, that's not really the point of this. There's what the valve cover will look like. It is these
2
holes,
pieces too, because the bed's only so big.
right, they have to be glued together in this case, which we will do. I don't know if we're going to do it in this video or not. AN ports, so to show you guys a little bit of what I got going on here, the goal was to, oh yeah, it's because of that lip sticking out over there. The goal was to build a baffle plate in here, which will get welded to the inside of the valve cover, so it'll have a bunch of holes. You'll see that in the model that I've designed. And then these would be AN fittings that will get welded to this, or maybe built into the CNC process, but typically I think that would be just a welded in AN bung on that. So it was designed to have all the OEM gasket in it as well. And from our initial testing on the cylinder head, there's a reason we prototype. Is because it doesn't fit exactly as it should.
Yeah, can you imagine spending the money to get this thing one-offed and...
Yeah, and get it made, and then it doesn't fit. It's very close, but it looks like the holes are slightly off. So we have to get it glued in, get it glued together, see how it all fits on the cylinder head itself, and then we make adjustments from there. And like Clayton said, I mean, yeah, these took a while to print, but Canadian dollars, this costs maybe like
$20.
18 bucks or something, 20 bucks.
In filament, yep.
And it's printed really nice. If we printed it with a larger nozzle, it would print way quicker and use way less filament also, because it doesn't need to be as solid as it is.
No, like, I don't know, 3D printing over the years. Like, old style stuff, you'd see like every single layer line. You can see it here, but it's very fine.
It's very fine,
it's,
yeah. And
yeah,
it's got to do with the finish. And do we have anything else that we did printed already? I mean, you're going to show some of the pieces that
I got a bunch of stuff printed
you've done already.
So, yep.
But we printed, like you guys have seen now that we've done, obviously, home cabinet set for building engines and stuff. But we did a 3D printed TV stand, which you're not going to see, but
Pull it.
I can't. This is how far it pulls out, remember?
Yeah, but you can see it's behind
There.
Yeah,
So that's
you can't see anything.
Oh, and you did 3D print this thing,
Yeah.
which was supposed to get mounted on the wall for like mouse, keyboard to keep this desk nice and clean. So needless to say, it's been pretty cool messing with it. And we have a handful of other things that we're going to 3D model that will probably just end up in plastic. They won't need to be CNC'd out of aluminum.
No,
like
I already built some tools and stuff, mostly Porsche type stuff, but like you got to think about like seals, like even the adapter you need to put the seal on. Sometimes you can make that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have different sizes, sleeves to push down pistons and stuff.
Yep.
All that stuff.
So we did, I forget what else you've already printed, but some of the things that we want to do, well, you just, on the weekend, we started to, and we'll talk about that now because we're obviously talking about the drag car and stuff. We have this style of slipper. This would be like considered like a Magnus style slipper on the drag car. We are switching this out to a different style of slipper. So we're replacing all of this stuff. You'll see some of that in a future video, but the controller that we got to mount inside the car, Clayton's going to build a little mount for it, and it's just going to hold that, so I don't have to try to build anything out of aluminum or anything like that. It's just going to be out of plastic, and we'll be able to just use a 3D modeled piece.
Well, even that being said, I mean, it's nice that we made even little things. Like Dave made this out of aluminum, and it looks really good, and it is sturdy, but that could have been made in
Plastic, yeah.
plastic.
Could have.
And there's different types you can have, like
that's the other
carbon
thing.
inlay and everything else.
This isn't all just like that plastic that we made the valve cover out of is just the cheapest, junkiest plastic.
Yeah, you put that out in the sun, it's melted.
Yeah, if it sat in your car for an afternoon, that would be all warped and twisted. That's not the intent. It's just for prototyping. We want to, and I think Clayton's working on this already. We have this, keep in mind the car's half torn apart, so half the turbo kit's sitting in the car, but this is basically our breather for the engine. So a catch can, you would see typically a filter and a catch can out in the engine bay. As you can see here, we have that catch can mounted inside the car and all the lines go to that. And then we have this big hose that goes to the back of the car. Now there's a few things. That hose is not light. It adds probably 10, 15 pounds to this weight of this car. And we've noticed now in the summer, it gets condensation in it, and then it wants to puke it out the back. Not in the catch can, but in the hose itself. Yeah. And Clayton's constantly trying to get the fluid out of there, get the water out of there.
Kind of an oversight on our half because it goes down before it goes up.
Yeah. So we're thinking now we're going to build a, what are those, what are those things called? Those vents are
Like a NAFTA duct.
kind of like that.
Is that what it's called? NAFTA?
That's- you're
NAFTA?
very
Something
close,
like
yeah.
that? Yeah.
So we're going to try to
Somebody
build
will correct
something like that here, that when the door shuts, it's going to go into a piece of hose, so we don't have this whole entire hose running through the car. The catch is going to come in, and it's literally going to vent out the side of the car.
And hopefully it just doesn't spew oil.
Well,
All
yeah,
that inside
if
the
the engine stays together, it won't hopefully do that. But that's one of the other things we're going to work on to try to capitalize on just something that will likely just remain in plastic. We won't do anything else with that, hopefully. Right, Clayton?
Hopefully we won't have to.
Hopefully we won't have to. So the valve cover, we're going to get that glued together. Maybe we'll take a minute and try to glue that together now. And we'll show you how it fits on the valve cover. Do you want to talk about some other stuff
No.
we got going on?
No.
Yeah, we do.
No.
Yeah, we do. Come on.
Okay.
I'm finally putting together my 2.5 engine.
Boring. No, kidding.
No,
Hey, wait.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Where is it?
La. So this engine, you'll see a whole video on this rod and piston engine. So a set of JEs. We're doing valve springs and valves.
Too bright. Get with it, Clayton.
Yeah, it's a little fancier over here now that
Yeah,
we got
get
this
all
new
kinds of
bench and the lighting and stuff. So you'll see a full build on this 2.5 that's going in my daily. And then the turbo kit, which is up on the lift there. The turbo kit for the 2.5, I would say realistically,
End of this month?
that's a
If
good
we just
joke.
keep saying that.
I know, I keep saying it. Well, what's the date? That's not even where I was going with that. I think probably the next video will probably be about the turbo kit.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my goal. Clayton's like,
No, I mean, there's been
I
I
don't
don't know if
lot
anybody's
going
heard
on
about
here.
what's going on in the world, tariffs and all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, the tariffs, that's one thing in itself. So we've obviously developed the turbo kit already. I've posted some pictures of it or some video of it in other videos. So the kit exists. The problem is with the basically being shut down for almost a month for all the renos and the stuff we're doing changes. But on top of that is trying to figure out proper pricing and stuff when the rest of the world where all of us basically are getting hit with different tariffs. So some part of the turbo kit, I'll just talk about it now, that we're hoping to basically just drop ship to you guys. There's no point of me getting turbos directly here when I can just ship them directly to you to keep the cost down. But if we're shipping a turbo to you and it's coming from China and there's a 185% tariff, then that's stuff we got to deal with. So hold off. Where the turbo kit is, the first one is going to be on this engine that we're going to show really its true potential if you want to spend some money doing the engine and stuff.
see what it can do.
What it can do with a bigger turbo and a built engine and stuff. And then we have another car already here that a stock engine that we're going to put the turbo kit on and show you guys kind of what a stock engine setup will be with the same turbo or the same turbo kit with a little bit smaller turbo. So enough about the 2.5 stuff. Let's get the gluing that together. Stream.
Yeah, so I can use some of this. Not sponsored. Unless they want to sponsor, then
Yeah, exactly.
we have space for sponsorship posters up there.
Yeah, along the walls. So it's crappy that we printed in the two different versions because it doesn't look nearly as nice as what it could. But again, we're learning. So let's try it on a cylinder head over here.
In real time, I'm following it.
Real time?
Yeah.
Real time, you're going to...
So they can be disappointed when it doesn't
Yeah,
feel like
real
us.
time, you're going to see how I screwed this all up. So one thing that isn't included, but you'll see it in the model, is the timing mark piece we didn't print that piece.
I know,
It
and
is
I
there.
didn't think of it. I should have, but
That's okay. You're forgiven.
you can lay that down.
I don't know. I don't want to lay it down flat. This is still a good cylinder head.
Well, lay it. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to say, Clayton, there's more problems than I thought.
Okay.
Because where's the other valve cover? Do those studs fit inside that?
Beer pack.
Where'd you find that out? BRB? I got to set
No.
this down, so hold on before you start recording.
I'm recording.
No, stop recording.
Doing it live.
No, stop recording. So this is going to take a second. What did I screw up?
I don't know yet.
What did I screw up,
I
Clayton?
don't know. We'll check. I think those go up inside. I think the plastic's too thick there. So like on this one.
Oh,
You got that piece.
somebody screwed up. Oh, there's little holes right here that I think those end of
Little
those
indents.
studs sit there. So this is the reason why you
Get depressed.
do
and give up.
prototyping. Yeah, get depressed and
Compressed.
get depressed and never want to do this again.
Oh, it fits now.
No, it doesn't. Oh, actually, it does sort of fit. Yeah, it's just off.
Yeah,
It's all off.
You did it perfect.
No, it's not perfect because it's too short. It's too short, Clayton. Somebody screwed up.
That's what.
And you know what? Usually, if something happens,
Usually
that's
too short's
wrong,
not a problem. It's a good thing.
Nope. Usually, when something's wrong, I just blame it on Clayton.
Yeah.
In this case, I did all of this. So
Oh yeah. All right. End of the video. Like, subscribe.
yeah, leave on a high note, George.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some problems that need to be addressed with this thing because it doesn't fit like I was hoping. It's close, but there are going to be some modifications that need to happen.
The good part about that, we can take measurements off this, and now if we have to grind anything away, build that into the new thing that you have super organized and fusion with. They can just.
I
make
do have
easy.
it okay.
I know. I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay. You sounded sarcastic there. So yeah, this is the kind of the point of this. Print it out so that it doesn't cost me, $1,000 to get this CNC machined out of aluminum. We're going to print it out until we get it right, make the changes needed. Maybe the next time we try to print it out, we'll do it in a larger nozzle size so it takes way less filament and way less time. In the bit of messing around Clayton's done with the 3D printer, he hasn't dabbled into that yet, so something else for you to mess around with and learn.
I'm lucky enough I can do something like this.
But you're gonna put a bunch of stuff with the 3D printer and all that in the video to show people
Oh,
what we're
for
working
sure.
with?
Yeah, I can show you.
I mean,
them around.
it's a common. We both purchased the Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon, so it gives us the ability to do a little more.
Different filaments like
Yeah,
carbon
what's the
inlay
word?
stuff and glass fiber.
Engineering filaments kind of deal. So like glass fiber or carbon fiber reinforced filament. That's not what this is. This is just junky old PLA filament. But we are learning, and this is you guys following along with us learning how to waste a bunch more money.
And again, not sponsored. Bamboo didn't sponsor us.
No,
Nothing
we
sponsored.
bought all this stuff ourselves. We are wasting all this money on filament trying to learn. But it does seem like if you're in this space, and when I say in this space of building custom applications like we are here, turbo kits and random, it's all custom stuff all the time in here. Having the tools to be able to model and do this stuff in-house is going to be a huge benefit for us. Not to mention the stuff with the drag car.
Well, not only will it save time, but we're going to be developing stuff that was never possible before or never made sense to do so, like brackets.
It'd be too expensive.
Just little things. It's just makes sense.
Yep. And then the other things in the car, in the shop now, we got a Mark 7R, big turbo on deck. This GTI, all-wheel drive GTI, this has started and now runs. I think I mentioned it before. We did have a problem with the high-pressure fuel pump trying to burn the thing down.
Yeah, we let the smoke out.
We definitely let the smoke out of that thing, but it looks like we're going to be back on this one this week also.
But that being said, now there's lots of fire extinguishers around the shop, which is great.
Yeah, it did. It helped us make things a little bit safer around here when that happened. We don't have any video footage of it. I did take a picture, but basically while the car was running, the high-pressure fuel pump just decided to, the solenoid in it just burned up, and just was a scary moment there for a minute. But that one's coming. Whole bunch more 3D modeling and stuff like that going to happen with the drag car. The next video will probably be about the 2.5, a little more in depth about the turbo kit and that engine, and we got more stuff coming on the drag car. So Clayton, anything that we want to add to this?
No.
No, you're done?
No,
Clayton's done.
We're going to be busy. We've still got a lot of stuff to do.
We got a lot of stuff to do. We got
Kayla's car, there's stuff coming for that.
We talk about Kayla's car all the time, but it's official. The gear sets and everything for her car specifically, some more stuff for the drag car, other customer cars and stuff like that are on the way, which is the one big thing that was kind of holding up us finishing up Kayla's car. Not to do with motivation or anything like that, but
no, not at all.
When you're building a transmission to handle that type of power, it is not cheap.
And straight up, it's one of those things where it's like while I'm in there, and the while I'm in there got out of hand. So had to put a stop to it somewhere, and that's where we're going. So anyway, lots of exciting stuff. Lots of stuff has happened.
Clayton's just like, wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's springtime. It's going to be endless stuff now. So we're going to get back on schedule. We're going to get back on schedule and post a video a week. I would say probably this week alone, Clayton and I are probably going to film a couple videos because there's lots happening. So thanks for everybody's support. Thanks for everybody's patience. Thanks for all the customers' patience as we went through this transition. Still a few more things to go and happen in here, but appreciate everybody. Any comments, ask below. 3D printer nerds, if you got any tips, please let us know. See you in the next video. Bye. Clayton's filming with his phone. We're adding this into the video. We drilled I drilled the bottom of the valve cover, so now we have it fitting better. So the holes line up, the bolt holes line up, the spark plug holes are decent. They fit. However, like we thought originally, it doesn't fit 100%. Clayton, zoom in and see our problems. Somewhere along the way, I have
no idea
why I screwed this up, but everything else seems to fit. It's just this end needs to come down a little tiny bit this way. So, not too bad for the first time, Clayton. Not too bad. Everything else fits. Everything else looks good. We just need to do a little bit of changes. Maybe we'll print it again for another time. I don't know. We were just adding this into the rest of the video.
The next one, just straight to the mill.
Yeah,